Good morning. What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't noticed, yes, we are in purple and orange today, ladies and gentlemen. We got some huge news talking about everything Phoenix Suns today. And of course, I got my guy, Gabe, over here from the Suns Valley podcast. What is going on, man? How are you doing today?
Hey, man, I am living the life. I want to welcome you to the Underdog Fantasy family, actually, man. We've been with them since the beginning of this year, and dude, they're awesome. It's fun too. I'm kind of getting addicted to it. They don't like you. They don't like you to use the word addicted, but it's happening with me.
Yes,
yeah.
They don't recommend it for sure. My wife feels like I'm getting addicted too.
Yeah.
But for sure, yeah. So just real quick, this video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Go ahead and use promo code AZSF. And go ahead and get yourself a match deposit up to $100. But let's get started here. We got a lot to talk about in this episode here, Gabe. Let's talk about, obviously, the breaking news that ended up transpiring for the Phoenix Suns. We got KD coming over to the Phoenix Suns. I want you to paint a very nice picture for me and everybody in the chat. How did this go down? What were you doing at this very moment when it went down?
So I had given up on it. I have been taking the tact on Twitter of tampering down expectations. I put a video out yesterday that was cruising. It had like 3K views in like 7 hours. I'm like, here we go, baby. This is a 10K banger. But bang, the news dropped. But I was asleep. I didn't think, I definitely didn't think it was going to be KD. I didn't think we were going to do anything last night, but I was sleeping. My buddies are texting me. I saw my phone lighting up. I was like, God, no, I don't care what's going on. And I stayed asleep. My wife knew I was asleep, and she's like sitting there waiting for me to wake up. I'm like, why didn't you wake me up? But it's all good, because I've had all night to sit here and think about it and make a video, and I would have been so stressed. It was just, it's a whirlwind, man. Yeah. Like it's not just conjecture. It actually happened. Kevin Durant will be wearing Dragon Bender's old number, like right after the All-Star break, because he's injured right now. Mm-hmm. He's not going to play tonight, of course. He's not going to play until after the All-Star game. And dude, I think what happened was he made his demand, and he said, I've got a list of teams. Namely, I want to go to the Suns first or Miami second. And Joe Tsai is like, you remember how he didn't want to trade Kyrie to the Lakers? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because that's where Kyrie wanted to go. And he's like, I didn't want to give him because that's the type of GM Joe Tsai is. He did not want to give the Suns Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's like, yo, send me the Suns. He's like, BS, I ain't doing that. I'm not giving you what you want. You're not going to come in here making demands. So I think, and this is just my own opinion, I think when he went to Kevin and said, just give me this year, because Kevin rescinded his trade offer and said, I'm going to play this year.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a agreement between the two of them, probably, of like, dude, just give me half a year. Let me save face here. Give me half a year. Let's try it with Kyrie. Let's see if we can do something. And then Kyrie threw a wrench right up in the spokes of that bicycle, bro.
Yeah.
And just because they were cooking, they were doing great.
They did. Yeah, were. Mm-hmm.
So really, we might really just have Kyrie to thank for this.
100% agree, man.
As
Honestly,
weird as that is.
It's so funny because I remember last year we jumped on a stream and it was just very minimal because I was hosting something called the KD Watch, and I thought it was going to happen last year, but obviously it didn't happen for me. So I'm 33. So I sleep around 10 to 10:30, right? So I was already snoozing. Like I was snoozing. And I woke up at 1 a.m. because my little girl woke up and I was like, okay, I gotta feed her, you know? And for some reason, I was like, I'm gonna look at Twitter. I don't know why. I'm half asleep, my eyes closed. I don't know why I'm up, right? I opened Twitter and boom, I have so many tags saying, oh my God, Mike, look what happened. And I'm like, dang, that's nuts. And obviously I tweeted and all the people were like, oh, you're late to the party. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, but I have to sleep. I did not see this happening at all. Now, this is one of the very few times that I'm actually drinking an energy drink. I don't drink energy drinks at all, but I'm still tired. But let's dive right into this trade in general. Obviously, with what we have going on, right? We got a Woj bomb dropping around like 11 p.m. midnight-ish, but basically this is exactly what it was. Now the breaking was that the Phoenix Suns are nearing a blockbuster trade to acquire Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant. Sources tell ESPN. Durant wanted to move to Suns, and new owner Matt Ishbia pushing to get this deal done tonight. Now, this top part is what I really want to kind of focus on. It says the Suns are sending Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap for Durant and TJ Warren, sources tell ESPN. Now, there was another breaking news that ended up dropping probably about 20 minutes, maybe about an hour ago. We'll dive into that a little bit later, but let me know how you're feeling about, obviously, Mikal Bridges. Everybody's really sad, right? I'm included. Right. And then Cam Johnson. What are your thoughts?
So I've got Bridges' jersey behind me, and I've thought about taking it down, but I can't bring myself to, man. I can't. I think I'm going to have to see Kevin Durant walk out onto that court before I'm ready to take that number 25 down off the wall, because Mikal is kind of like the heartbeat of the Suns. He's not the best player, but he was budding and turning into a star. I've been calling him a star in the last 13 games. He's been averaging 23 points per game. And Cam Johnson, since he's come back from injury, he's looked like he's a star in the making.
Yeah.
So not just our emotional attachment and love for these dudes, but these dudes are ballers. So it was Kyrie asking for the trade. Plus, when we offered the Nets Mikal and Cam earlier before the season, it wasn't the same Cam and Mikal.
True.
This is Super Cam and Super Mikal. So this time they were like, you know what? Let's revisit that trade and hit the accept button. So it's a big deal. It sucks, but I've been saying this and I feel like it's true, man. You draft those guys mid first round. And when you take someone, both of them went mid first round. Yeah. Mid first rounders, you dream that someday you can turn those guys into a package to bring Kevin bleeping Durant to your, you know what I mean? So before you get the emotional attachment, you're like, hey, wouldn't it be hilarious if the last few years, the dudes we've been taking midway through the first week tournament, it never happens.
Right. Especially for the Suns.
Oh my gosh. Especially for the Suns, man. But I said it in my video that I put out today. We made this decision a long time ago. James Jones did, at least, when he signed Chris Paul. Chris Paul's contract when he was with the Rockets, Daryl Morey, the GM of the Sixers now, was their GM. He's quoted as saying, when I got to the Rockets and I saw Chris Paul's contract, I saw it as the most lopsided contract in the history of sports for a player, as far as the player having the better end of the contract. We got him on that contract and gave him more money.
Yeah.
So we made our bed paying a 37 now and a half year old Chris Paul all that money. What are we going to do? Have him be sitting here without a chance? Just pay him that money for the next 2 years, right, knowing that, I mean, I got to be honest though, the way we were playing recently, I'm not convinced that we couldn't have made a run at the finals without KD and what we already had.
Yeah, and I think that was one of my biggest questions I was going to ask you too. So I guess we'll segue into that, right? I think a lot of us, or at least, for myself, Mikal Bridges hurts a little more than Cam Johnson to me. Now, Cam Johnson, right? Obviously, they're known as the twins. Mikal and what he brought, his passion, just his basis, just who he was. I think that's what a lot of people got that emotional attachment. But I think we've tried it, right? We tried, that kind of group core. Obviously, we ended up knowing what happened with the finals. We ended up knowing what happening with the Dallas Mavericks and getting booted out. I think I think the Phoenix Suns needed to do something drastic, and KD was linked to Phoenix Suns for since last year, and now that Matt Ishbia has come in, he actually made it happen. Because let's be honest, I don't think Robert Sarver was going to do a damn thing about it. But
yeah,
so huge. It's such a big thing for Phoenix Suns fans to really have so much momentum coming into the season. Now, you're right. I do think that with the momentum of what has blossomed Mikal Bridges for these past weeks, as well as, after Cam Johnson has come back after his injury, they've looked so much better, and they could have possibly made a run, but we're always leaning on the possible, right? We're leaning on the possibility.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So much better. It seems so much better. And I know I hate being that guy, because Mikal Bridges is the SHIT. I swear, great person, yes, great player, great team player, right? But with KD, it just seems to be more possible. Because when somebody told me CP3, D-Book, and KD, and that's not even to mention DA and what
DA in the house, still locked up.
Yeah.
Locked up contractually. So one thing that I think is kind of that isn't being talked about as much is, how are we, we're the Warriors, not greatness wise. I'm saying money wise, we're in the luxury the way the Warriors were. We have 4 max deals. How is that even But our new owner came in, and he's not a cheapskate. I always said about Robert Sarver, he's got his issues. One of his major issues is he's like, you know what? He's like me. I've got an expensive car that I can't afford. Okay. So I just roll around in my dope car, broke. Funny. I've got insurance. I've got enough for gas, bro. But if I want to, I can't afford nothing. He was that type of owner. He spent all his money on a team and didn't have the money to throw at it. If my car gets busted up or something, I'm screwed. I can't afford to replace stuff. That's how he was. Yeah. And that's not Matt Ishbia. Apparently this dude is let me immediately go all in and go all the way into the luxury and pay Ayton on a max, Booker on a max, CP3 is on a max, and KD is on a max. I didn't know that was possible. Wild. Yeah, I know a lot of people have made some comments about, obviously, Michael Bidwell, the owner of the Arizona Cardinals, and they're like, okay, can Matt Ishbia buy them? Because I'm just 48 hours since he's bought the Suns, and how much happiness he's brought to this community already. It's absolutely amazing. Let's talk about the the 4 first round picks that we're also sending their way. Let me ask you a quick question. Obviously, I think we dived into the Mikal Bridges and the Cam Johnson. We'll get to Jay Crowder here in a little bit, but for 4 first round picks, is that a little steep for you? What are you thinking about that? Okay, it would be steep, but there's 2 things. The Timberwolves screwed it up for everyone. They gave 5 first round picks for Rudy Gobert. So if Rudy Gobert equals 5 apples, how many apples does Kevin Durant equal?
Yeah.
That's just the price got raised. It's like inflation. Everyone suffers when you pay Rudy Gobert, when you pay 5 first rounders for him. Now everyone is going to hear that in negotiations. Oh, you want Kevin Durant? Well, let's see what the current market is. Well, 5 first rounders for, you know what I'm saying? Like they could have had us really bent over a barrel. The other thing is James Jones, a great drafter, he is not.
True.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
Yes, he got us Cam Johnson, but we could have had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for McHale. We could have had Tyrese Halliburton, who is literally Steve Nash, 6'8", Steve Nash. He is nearly perfect over Sticks. And I loved Sticks. This is not a dig at Sticks, but this is that situation. You know, he's not a good drafter. So you're giving up 4 first-round picks from a guy who probably and those picks weren't going to be that high. They weren't going to be, and he's, you know what I'm saying? So it's, I'm okay with it. Yeah, no, honestly, I think when you break it down like that, very similar to Steve Keim in the Arizona Cardinals. He's just a terrible drafter just in general. So I mean, that's a good point. Saying the first round picks, they weren't going to be anything high anyway. So I mean, you kind of had to do it, right? You had to do it. I think the Phoenix Suns knew that the window, a lot of people are saying like a 1 or 2 year window. Some might argue that it's a little bit more, but let's be honest. It's bigger now.
CP3 is aging, right?
But here's the thing. We are the favorites. We are the, hey, come glom on for a title.
True.
That's going to be, we're all going to see that in like a few days. Because all these trades are going to go down today. And then there's the buyouts. There's dudes going to teams that they don't really want them for the trade. It just was to make the contract work. And this happens every year. There's the trades, and then there's buyout candidates. Oh, so-and-so's been bought out. Bobby Portis got bought out. He's looking for a team. He's a free agent. And where's he going to go? It used to be the Lakers. It used to be, I'm going to the Warriors to glom on for a title. I'm going to the Bucks to play with Giannis for a quick title. And then I'll go, that's us now. That's awesome. Us.
That's great. Chills down my body.
Like, no, you're right. I read that in an article today. I'm like, oh my God, earlier this morning, I'm like, that's true. People are going to want to come play for us now. Like, I'm hearing Eric Gordon is a real possibility.
Really?
That would be a great bench piece to have. A real shooter to come in. Someone you can trust more than Shamet.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. No, you're right. That's a good call on that. Dang, I am so excited. Like I said, I haven't been sleeping since 1
a.m. And then the offseason. Think about free agents this offseason taking less to come to the Suns. What the hell?
Yeah. No, you're right.
That's the life we're 1%ers now.
We're not used to it, man.
No.
Arizona sports is not used to it. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, let's segue into this here real quick. Let's segue into Jay Crowder. Obviously, he was a part of the package to get traded away, but he was also traded over to the Bucks probably about an hour ago now. But they traded him away, and the Nets received 5 second-round picks for Jay Crowder. What are your thoughts on that?
If you would, I just can't believe that 5. I mean, 5 is what sounds a lot, but they are all seconds.
True.
They must have really wanted Crowder, bro. I don't know what to say. I mean, we thought we were going to get 1 first rounder out of him. So if you feel like 1 first rounder equates to 5 seconds, I guess that's an equal trade. But
the draft picks in the NBA is so much different than the NFL. That they obviously there's more pieces in the NFL that you need to kind of fill in as opposed to the NBA roster. But yeah, I mean, Jay Crowder, right? I mean, this whole drama, I'm just glad it's over, right? He hasn't played any game for the Phoenix Suns this whole season. I'm assuming he wants to go to the Bucks. Do you see anything else happening? Now, I'm not trying to be one of those guys that I'm like, oh, I want more.
Right.
Do you see anything else happening for the Phoenix Suns? Maybe us trading something away or anything like that?
I do. I've been hearing Eric Gordon that they're looking to try to get Eric Gordon, but I think I do expect. I don't, dude. I mean, I don't even know what it would be, but I just don't think Matt Ishbia is done. You know, like if I was telling Sundo on our stream, I'm my co-host, I'm like, dude, if you bought a used car, but it's like a dope used car. I mean, we're not talking like a trashy. We're talking like one of the sickest cars in the world. You get it from a collector. Are you not going to like hang a new air freshener in there? Like you want to make it your own in ways, maybe change the floor mats out. I don't know. This is his new baby. He wants to make it his. Like, I think he's going to do something else. Yeah, I just don't know what. So I don't want to give anyone any like false hope and act like I have, because I don't. But I guarantee you, we're getting a buyout. Like, we're going to get somebody who everyone's hoping to get. That one or two of those players is going to come to the Suns to try to win a title this year. That's how it always is. It's just never like that for us.
The excitement level. Now, obviously, so I'm on all social platforms. So I got Instagram, I got Twitter, I got TikTok, and then I got YouTube here as well.
Yeah.
I got some people kind of saying that we gave too much. Now, I know we talked a little bit already about what we gave up for KD. For the new people that are joining here, we got over 140 people right now. We're joined by Gabe from the Valley Podcast here. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to him. I do have his channel in the description of this video, so definitely go and click on it. And I think it's also in the title. You can click on that as well. I don't think we gave up too much, right? So for the new people that came in here, do you think we gave up too much for KD?
For the people that are saying that we gave up too much, I feel you.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong, because you might end up being right.
Yeah.
Like, KD has been injured lately. He's injured right now.
Yeah.
He had that Achilles, but I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to close your eyes and push accept. I mean, you can't not do it.
Yeah.
It's very tough, because I think Cam Johnson could be truly could be the next Klay Thompson. Now, Klay Thompson used to be a defensive, top defensive player in the NBA. He was a top two-way. Cam Johnson's not going to be a top two-way, but as far as what offensively you used to get from Klay, I see Cam Johnson as being a little bit bigger Klay Thompson. I really do. He's that good of a shooter. And Mikal was first team all defense.
Yeah.
And this year, his offense, because of Booker's groin injury, I said it in a while ago, it's like he had to shed his skin and become a new greater thing. And he did it. He learned how to ISO, run the pick and roll, pass off. I was excited, bro, because remember when we were trying to do point Booker?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of works, but point Mikal was actually working. And we might have turned him into a star and given him away for somebody like 10 years his senior.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's the worrisome part. That's the worrisome. We did give up our future. Let's be honest here, but we're banking on the fact that we're going to be winning this championship here for the Phoenix Suns. At least, fingers crossed. Let me ask you just a real quick question. You don't need to have the answer to this, but do you see Mikal and Cam Johnson staying in Brooklyn? I know this.
If I'm the Nets, I ain't letting either of them go.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like, why would you let Cam Johnson go if you have him? Why wouldn't you at least try to see what he's going to be? And then with Mikal ain't going anywhere. I don't think he's going, because what I read was that trying to do this deal without Mikal, that's what had been holding it up. The Suns were trying to hold on to Mikal, and they were about to pull off a deal for John Collins with the Hawks, who we play tonight at 6:30 Central. And Matt Ishbia said, let me circle one more time back around to the Nets. And they said, look, not having Mikal in this, that's a non-starter. It's not happening without Mikal. So why would they give up Mikal for something else? That just don't make sense. I think they're going to be, and that's kind of like a silver lining, is that we love the Twins so much. It's kind of nice that they get to stay together.
True.
They get to have each other.
Very, very true. All right, let's segue into this here real quick, right? I know one of the big talking points, obviously, we're I mentioned champion. I don't think you did, but, I'm over here trying to gloat about championship. But let's look at the standings here for the Western, for the Western Conference here in the NBA. Right now, the Suns are sitting at the number 5 spot right now, but it's very, very tight, very, very close. Do you think the Suns are the favorite coming out of the West?
Absolutely. And that's a scary thing, but it absolutely is true. The Suns are the favorites. The Suns are the favorites. And I like, ask anybody else, like ask Grizzlies fans. They're going to be like, oh yeah, well the Suns are the favorites, but you'll get all of that. You know, oh, they'll get hurt. KD's a snake. He's going to ruin your franchise. All jealousy. They'd all trade for KD if they could.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
You know, but can you pull up those standings for me for one more second?
Course.
So we are 8.5 games out. We have the entire post All-Star game to catch up. 8.5 games. We could have done 8. I don't mean to get ahead of myself here, but we could have done 8.5 games. We could have caught up to be tied for first. There's enough time. We could have done that, and I think we could have done it without KD. It does all that matters. I just want to get inside the top 4 so we have home court advantage for, like, you know, the first couple of series.
Right.
But yeah, dude, we could be number 1 in the standings at the end of the season. No question. There's that much time left in the season. True. And the mess, that's kind of a Freudian slip. The West is a mess this year. Everybody's losing games they shouldn't lose, including us.
We got somebody saying in the chat here, is KD playing today? You said no, he's not. Most likely after the All-Star, right?
Yeah, he's still injured.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, at least we got to see DA again, you know, hopefully dominating.
Dude, in the last 2 games, he scored 64 points and 30 rebounds.
I'm so glad there was rumors about DA getting traded, and that right there, I love Mikal. I do. Don't get me wrong. But the idea of losing DA, now that we're seeing this like 2 weeks of samples, like, and I was like, this is what we want. This is what we want from DA. So I'm so glad that like he wasn't.
Dude, we have a big 4.
Yeah.
Maybe you call it a big 3 because CP3 is old and probably won't be available at certain times. Or maybe you want to call it a big 3 because Ayton doesn't play up to his potential all the times. But we got a big 3.
Yeah, we do.
Basically have a big 4.
We do. Do you think this overshadowed Kyrie Irving? Because he just got this.
Yes. Yes.
They asked him, I think on their win, he was like, I'm gonna focus on my team right now. But yeah, it's crazy, right? Because that kind of happened like literally within 48 hours. Oh, he's requesting a trade. Oh, he's going to the Mavericks. But like then it kind of stopped. And then this news came out, and I kid you not, people that aren't Suns fans, but that are very like love the NBA, saying that we're the favorites. The Phoenix Suns are the favorites, and that just makes me excited.
Dude, it will be so. The only downside is the pressure.
Yeah,
there's pressure now. You're expected to win. Teams are going to be hunting us again.
True.
They're going to be hunting us when we come to town. Whenever they come in, we're going to get everyone's best shot. Kind of like the Grizzlies after Ja said that he's fine in the West, and then everybody started clowning them. We're going to get everybody's best shot, and we're going to be expected to win, so there could be like a letdown. But wouldn't you rather be in the position of having pressure rather than being in a position where you're like, you know, it'll be cool if we get past the second round? I'd rather have that pressure to win it all.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I just keep thinking of our finals run, you know, being up 2-0 against the Bucks, and just the way that it ended. And then Dallas, you know, the Mavericks ended up, you know, it's just, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
It's like we're back and better than ever.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you're like me. You've been humbled in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We took our humbling
Yeah.
And I have been knocked down a huge peg. And then this season, it was like, well, I know my place. I know what happens if we run into the Pelicans with Zion. We're getting trounced. We're getting dunked on. I know what's going to happen if we go up against Luka. But now it's like our big brother, who's like a senior, and we're like sophomores. He showed up and he's better than everybody. And it's like, oh, hey, yeah, let's run it back real quick. We got I didn't know my brother was back from college. Like, let's go. And we, it's, we're on.
I like that analogy. That's very good.
Yeah.
And to think that like Devin Booker doesn't need to be Devin Booker all the time. Like,
yeah.
Because he can have off games, right?
He's not the best player on our team anymore.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Wow. Oh my God, dude. I don't know why I'm getting so much chills just talking about, KD obviously to Arizona.
Because it's setting in now. It wasn't like I've been in shock, like I got in a car accident for like 9 hours now since I woke up. I kept telling my wife, I'm like, baby, it has not set in. Like I feel pressure to make videos. I feel pressure to like do YouTube stuff, but it doesn't feel real.
It doesn't. No, you're right.
As it's starting to sink in, as we're like verbally walking down the path of having KD, it's like, oh, that means this is going to happen. That means this. Oh, no, we've still got Dario. Like all the little things keep popping into my head. Like the worst starter on our team is probably going to be Torrey Craig.
Yeah, true.
But I can live with that. I like Torrey Craig.
Me too. What about, okay, so a lot of people aren't really talking about TJ Warren. He's coming.
Oh, I know. We're getting TJ Warren back.
Yeah.
Which, you remember when we used to rehabilitate everyone? Like Shaq came here. We kept him healthy all season. Grant Hill came back and played all 82 games of a season once, and he hadn't done that in like 9 consecutive years. I wish we still had Aaron Nelson and that group, because getting TJ Warren into that group, I'd be like, yo, I don't care what's been going on with his body. We're going to get him right, and he's going to be fully healthy. I don't know if we still have that kind of juice.
Right.
But I loved him.
Yeah. I do remember when he was here, and I almost forgot that he's now a member of the
I
Phoenix
know.
Suns, because this KD news is just so
maybe he starts. I don't know. I don't know where he is. I haven't looked into how good he's playing or how healthy he is right now, because I don't like to think about it. I don't want to think about TJ Warren when he's not on our team, because we gave him up for cash considerations. Everybody clowned us for it because he went off in the bubble. And I've just hoped that he would stay down and not be good. But now I'm like, hoping that he'll be back up. Wow. When we got him, first of all, we drafted him. It's always nice to get your players back that you drafted. He was the leading scorer at North Carolina State. And he was all mid-range floaters. You remember floaters, mid-range jumpers, basically couldn't miss from the mid-range. Couldn't shoot threes though. The year we traded him, he went from not being able to shoot threes to being like a 43% three-point shooter. Just lights out. And then he scored like 50 something in the bubble in one game. He learned how to shoot threes and we let him go. I was so devastated.
Yeah.
But now we get a second bite at the apple, bro, and I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. Obviously, we got a game coming around. You know the schedule a little bit better than I do. How many estimated games do we have before the
5?
Oh, okay.
5 games left. Okay. Maybe 4. I'm pretty sure 4 or 5. And before the trade, I was, we're on like a 9 out of 11 game win streak. Mm-hmm. And I was saying that's going to put us at like 14 out of our last, because I think we're going to win all. Well, I thought we were going to, but now we're playing without KD, because we don't have him yet. Exactly. We're not going to have Mikal or Cam. Now I'm like, are we going to drop a couple of these 5 games? Before it doesn't matter that much. Yeah. It doesn't matter that much, but I was excited because we're on a huge upswing right now. Huge upswing.
Well, talking about, underdog fantasy here real quick, because I'm trying to go on the higher for,
of course
because amazing he's been doing. You think DA is going to continue to have this amazing.
I'm not saying this because I don't love him or believe in him. I just think playing like this is like asking a lot. I'm happy if he's 20 and 10 every night. I don't need 30 and 15. 20 and 10 is fine. He's just one of those players that is on and off. But the reason I trust him, the reason I never wanted to trade him, I held out on saying I wanted him gone. It's because I believe in him in the playoffs. The difference between him and Mikal in the playoffs is Mikal would show you all this greatness during the season, and then playoffs, he'd be like, I am content to sit over here in the corner and not do anything. But DA turns it up in the playoffs. Right. You got a dono here. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. AZ Fan 1998. What's up, brother, man? He says, let's go Suns, championship time. And that's the feeling, man. I don't want to get too high on my britches, man. I don't, but it's
You're right. It is smart to play it safe, but it is weird to see someone say championship time and it not be sarcastic. It's not sarcastic anymore. Like that was that person really meant that, and they might really be right.
100%. I mean, nobody would use that little emoji with the little, the flares coming out, unless they mean it. You know what I mean? And obviously, shout out to AZ Fan 1998. He's always donating here. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, these next games, I'm gonna obviously keep my eye on to see how we're gonna fall in the standings. But as you said, very optimistic, right? Optimistic about the Phoenix Suns. Playoffs. I'm not gonna say it's a no-brainer, but like it's trending that we are most likely going to get to the playoffs.
I mean, if we don't get in the playoffs, then like Booker has been shot like JFK. Like there's no way that we're going. It's how high are we going to be able to get?
Yeah. Did you see that one guy? I think it was like a couple days ago. Like trying to scale up some like building up in here. Like,
dude.
We'll get some more people like that. Trust me.
Yeah. When I see stuff like that, my hands pour sweat. I'm so scared of heights.
Me too. I don't know if you've been to Chicago, but they have this skyscraper where it's like literally a glass box.
I haven't been in it. I've seen pictures. I don't even think I would.
Dude, I had to crawl. My wife wanted a picture so bad that I'm like, okay, we're barely married. She, I want to, make her happy. I had to crawl to it. Kid you not, I crawled to it because I was so terrified of, don't want to think about it. But anyways, any last thoughts before, we close shop here? Obviously, the excitement is radiating through Phoenix and all Phoenix Suns fans throughout, the United States. But any last thoughts?
Well, I love the purple and orange setup, man. It is pretty slick. It's just, I guess, let's just try to be patient until the playoffs and see where this team goes. You know what? This is what I'll say. And I hate to grandstand and act like I'm not any better of a fan than any of you guys. I'm just saying, that Arizona fan, like let's not be those guys anymore. Let's be classy.
Yeah.
I don't want the whole NBA to hate us like other fans. Like everyone hates the Grizzlies. Let's keep the Grizzlies hated, and let's be the cool guys, that drive the cool car, and let's be that guy this year and not be too terrible to other fans on Twitter.
On Twitter. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, on Twitter specifically,
I was, for some reason, I was thinking about that one guy that everybody claims is a curse, the dude that was counting the money when we were in the...
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. Let's be less that guy and more, I don't know what, man, but let's not be that dude, because that's exactly the vibe I'm done with.
Yeah, that's fair. Let me get to this dono here real quick from Major Pain. He says, I was born and raised in Arizona at 50. I want a ring.
That's another thing. This whole Mikal and losing Cam thing. The Raptors fans, they're very passionate. When I do a video that has anything to do with the Raptors, they show up to tell me what a bozo I am. But I've asked them, and they all say it the same. They do not mind losing DeMar DeRozan for 1 year for Kawhi for that one title that he brought them. That one makeshift title that they got with Kawhi in the 1 year he was there makes it all worth it. And I think if that happens to us, it will all be worth it. You'll be able to look at Mikal and think, we sacrificed it for a ring, and I would do it again.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the I guess most common response that I've given, because like I said, I'm on, a lot of different social medias, and everybody, at least there's like 2 or 3 people saying, oh, but we gave up too much, or this and that. And I said, if we get the championship, that's all that matters, right? That's what people remember, championships. Obviously the Mavericks like to kind of poke fun that Luka, I don't want to talk about that guy, but anyways, yes. So any last thoughts before, we close shop here? Obviously greatness is happening. Exciting things are happening here for Phoenix Suns fans, just in general.
Not really, man. Just, I appreciate you having me on to talk Suns. Thank you guys for, supporting us here in the chat and everything. Me and my co-host Sundo, we're going to do a live stream. We always do live streams for every game. It's going to be at like 6:30 Central. So I think that's like 5:30 your time in Arizona. If you guys want to check it out, it's at Suns Valley Podcast. But yeah, man, I just appreciate you having me on, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast, chopping it up here, talking about Phoenix Suns. But yes, just a reminder, everybody, the link is going to be in the description of the video if you want to go ahead and support my guy Gabe over here. Great Suns content. Definitely go ahead and check them out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so we're gonna close shop here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day. And I'm gonna say something different here that I haven't said in a while. Go Suns.
Nice.